Good afternoon, everyone. This is Henry, and as we get into tonight's review, really wanted to bring you probably just this one chart because, it's interesting situation where you have so many traders that are talking about the very narrow participation. And granted, a little bit wider breadth might be easier to call for a broad bull market, but all the same, these couple of names that, really need to stay elevated have continued to do so and have patterns that remain accommodating for higher prices. So really that one chart is Apple, and maybe we can have a piggyback and go over and look at Nvidia afterwards. But all I'm telling you is that when you look at stocks and you think, okay, this has had such a strong move, maybe it's ready to revert, you really have a different story in Apple because you have the catalyst of earnings, right? Gaps can give you lots of information, and especially these types of gaps on binary events. So the earnings were a hit, right? Very well received. And you can see how if you take that candle that came after earnings were reported, the market opens the next day, and look how the low of that candle really starts to form out the lower part of the range. So you've got some really nice bullish flagging action. And if Apple was going to roll over and say you're looking at it saying 176.39 is going to be the high, well then more often than not, what you will see is a failure at the 618 retracement to that, right? Where this comes back up into here and then rolls back over. The fact that it has cleared this 618 retracement opens up the door into external retracements and what I believe will be good targets overhead. So that works well with the fibs, that works well with the Voodoo work. All of it to me is suggesting Apple to 180. And as long as that remains the path of least resistance, as long as we remain above 170, that's the way that I'm going to have to continue to look at this chart, and therefore, a big part of the broad equity market. So if you look at that pattern and you can see how post earnings, the consolidation and where it is today, is that not the same scenario that Nvidia is very likely to give, right? Because you have just a legendary move off of these earnings reports, and then all of today's action is an inside day. So maybe Tuesday, right? Because we're heading into a 3-day weekend, so it won't be Monday, but maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday also act as continuation days. Maybe you get some type of a bearish flush and you revisit the lower end of that range. But I'm essentially a buyer of Nvidia all the way down to 365 for targets what I believe will be up into 408. So if we can keep this tech theme going and some of the most important names, I think there will be at least one more leg higher, and then we'll reevaluate as we get a little bit more of that action behind us. But I hope you find the review and the levels helpful. You'll have a great long weekend, and I hope to see you back in here for the review on Tuesday. Hey traders, this is Henry with simplertrading.com. I wanted to thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful, and if so, be sure to click the like and subscribe buttons down below. If you would like to also see me putting these ideas into action and trading my own account live in front of you, be sure to sign up at simplertrading.com, and I hope to see you in the chat room sometime soon.